Whether and how you prepare your meals, who your host is, or how you help your business, you're thriving with your life. It means you've figured out a part of life that most people either ignore or give up on. That means you've not just surviving the years, you're thriving through them. You've made the decision, consciously or not, to take control of how you show up in the world, and make no mistake, how you show up matters. People say age is just a number. That's cute. But in reality, most people wear their years like a weight, dragging it with them in their posture, their energy, their attitude. When you walk into a room and you don't look like what the calendar says you should, it sends a message, a silent, powerful message that you operate at a different standard, that you've made discipline a habit, that you've chosen vitality over complacency. And whether you know it or not, people take notice. Looking younger than your age isn't about vanity, it's about ownership. Ownership of your health, your habits, your mindset. It says you've been intentional about what you put in your body, how you move, how you recover, how you think. It means you didn't just let life happen to you, you happened to it. Now, people will tell you it's good genes. That's their way of excusing their own lack of effort. Oh, you're just lucky. No, luck is what lazy people call discipline. They don't understand. Looking younger than your age is earned. It's in the early mornings when you train while others sleep. It's in saying no to what's convenient so you can say yes to what builds you. It's in that quiet inner voice that says, not today, when temptation calls you to drift. It's not just physical either. Looking younger often means feeling younger because you've refused to let the world dull your fire. You still pursue growth, you still chase goals, you're still hungry. That spark, it doesn't just keep you looking young, it makes you dangerous in the best way. So when someone says you look younger than your age, accept it, but understand what it really means. It's a badge, a symbol of relentless standards, and a reminder that how you live matters more than how long you've lived. Keep showing up like that, and the world won't be able to ignore you. It's funny how people react when they realize your age and it doesn't match what they see. There's this moment of disbelief followed by curiosity, maybe even a little envy. That's because looking younger than your age disrupts a narrative most people have accepted, that aging automatically means decline, that getting older has to come with aches, slowness, loss of energy, less relevance. But when you break that pattern, when you show up sharp, focused, full of life, it throws people off. And deep down, it challenges them. It forces them to consider that maybe the life they've accepted isn't the only option. Maybe more is possible. And that's the point. It is possible. But it takes work. It takes intention. This isn't about some magic cream or a secret supplement. It's about the choices you've made every single day. Because if you look younger than your age, chances are you've been playing the long game. While others were chasing comfort, you were chasing progress. When they took the easy route, you took the meaningful one. The discipline shows, even if most people don't understand what they're seeing. They see the results, but they don't see the costs. And that's fine. You don't need validation. You've already won. Looking younger than your age is a reflection of alignment. Mind, body, spirit, working together. You've taken the time to build your body, yes, but more importantly, you've trained your mind to reject excuses. You've made resilience your baseline. You've conditioned yourself to not settle. That mindset, that's youth, that's power. That's what people are seeing when they look at you and ask, how do you do it? But let's talk real for a minute, because this isn't always easy. The world isn't exactly built to support this path. It's full of shortcuts, full of noise, full of people telling you to just relax, just take it easy, that it's okay to let yourself go, that everyone your age is slowing down, and when you don't, when you refuse to accept mediocrity as your reality, you will face resistance. You'll hear the jokes. You're obsessed. You're trying too hard. Just enjoy life. What they really mean is, don't make me feel bad about settling. Because your presence, your discipline, your energy, it exposes their comfort. It challenges their lack of effort. So they'll try to pull you down to make themselves feel better. But you've been through that, and you're still standing. You're not here to blend in. You're not here to fade quietly into the background as the years go by. You're here to dominate your space, to live at full capacity, to stretch time by squeezing every ounce of life out of every single. You've stayed sharp because you've stayed in the fight. People age fast when they lose purpose, when they stop chasing something, when they allow themselves to just exist instead of thrive. You want to stay young? Stay hungry. Stay curious. Learn something new every year. Take on challenges that scare you. Surround yourself with people who are going somewhere, not just talking about the past, because youth isn't just skin deep. It's found in momentum. It's found in passion. And if you're waking up every day with something to build, something to prove, something to protect, you will radiate a different kind of energy. People will see it before you even speak. Looking younger than your age also means you've understood the value of boundaries. You've said no to the things that drain you. Toxic relationships, pointless drama, negative self-talk. You've edited your environment. You've curated your habits. You've simplified your life, not to do less, but to do more of what matters. That kind of clarity doesn't just help you focus, it preserves you. It keeps you light. It keeps your face from wearing the stress that others wear, like armor. You don't age like the rest because you don't live like the rest. And let's not overlook the role of standards. If you look younger than your age, you've probably been holding yourself to a higher one for years. You demand more from yourself. You show up even when no one's watching. You train even when it's inconvenient. You choose clean fuel mentally, emotionally, physically. And over time, that investment compounds. The world measures age in years, but you measure age in growth, in impact, in energy. And every day you choose to live that way, you push the boundaries of what's possible. The truth is, most people aren't aging, they're decaying. Slowly, silently, because they gave up on themselves. They stopped working on their body. They stopped sharpening their mind. They stopped believing they could keep evolving. But you never bought into that lie. You chose to evolve with time, not disappear under it. You didn't look at age as a finish line. You looked at it as a new gear. That's rare. That's why you stand out. This doesn't mean you've had it easy. Looking younger than your age doesn't mean life hasn't hit you. It has. You've taken your losses. You've had your dark seasons. But you didn't let them define you. You turned pain into fuel. You chose growth over victimhood. And that decision, it's visible. It's in your posture, your skin, your eyes. There's a glow that can't be faked because it comes from doing the work, internally and externally. And let's be real, this isn't about ego. This is about being prepared. When you take care of yourself, when you maintain your edge, you're not just preserving youth. You're building a fortress, a physical, mental, emotional fortress. You're preparing yourself to take on more, to carry weight others can't. You want to be a leader, a protector, a high performer? Then your body better be sharp. Your energy better be clean. Your mindset better be unshakable. That's what it takes to win. Looking younger than your age is just a reflection that you've stayed ready. And let's not forget the impact this has on the people around you. When your kids, your team, your community sees that you don't age like everyone else, they notice. You become proof of what's possible. You become an example of what commitment looks like. You're not just telling people what to do, you're showing them. And that kind of leadership, that's rare. That's valuable. That's legacy. So yes, looking younger than your age is powerful, but it's not the surface that matters most. It's what it represents. It's the invisible battles you've fought, the standards you've held, the vision you've committed to. It's the courage to live differently in a world that constantly pushes comfort, shortcuts, and compromise. And while most people use their age as a reason to slow down, you've made it your reason to speed up, to double down, to keep building, creating, leading. The world doesn't need more people who've given up. It needs more people like you. People who wake up with fire. People who refuse to let the number of candles on a cake determine their pace. People who make age irrelevant because their energy, their presence, and their output speaks louder than a number ever could. And that kind of living, that's timeless. It's not about pretending to be young, it's about refusing to disconnect from the things that keep you young. drive, purpose, movement, mastery. When you stop chasing those things, you don't just age, you rust. The world teaches people to act their age, but what does that even mean? If it means slow down, give up, or start counting yourself out, then maybe you were never meant to act your age in the first place. Maybe you were meant to raise the standard and redefine what's possible. That's what happens when you live with intention. When you treat every year not as a countdown, but as an opportunity. While others look for excuses, you look for the next level. That energy doesn't age, it evolves. And people notice, not just in the way you move or how your face refuses to give in to time, but in your presence, the way you carry yourself, the way you walk into a room and immediately shift the energy. That doesn't come from makeup or a new wardrobe or a skin routine, that comes from ownership. You've taken responsibility for your life in a way most people never will, and that responsibility, the discipline, the consistency, the hunger, that becomes your identity. That becomes the reason people stop and wonder how you do it. They think it's genetics or luck or some mystery because admitting the truth would require them to confront their own patterns. And you've seen those same temptations. You faced the same options, but you made a different choice again and again and again. You kept showing up when it wasn't convenient. You kept investing in yourself when others stopped. That's why you look the way you do. That's why you feel the way you feel. It's not magic, it's mastery. Looking younger than your age isn't a compliment, it's confirmation. Confirmation that the path you've chosen is working, that the hours you put in when no one was watching built something more than just muscle or stamina. It built integrity. It built alignment between your inner world and your outer results. That's not just impressive, it's magnetic. Because we live in a world full of people who gave up on themselves years ago. And when you walk through the door proving that it's possible to live with fire, focus, and strength after the age when others start to fold, you remind people of what they've forgotten. You remind them that time is not their enemy. Complacency is. And maybe that's the real message behind all of this. Maybe it's not about looking younger. Maybe it's about choosing not to die before you're dead, choosing to keep creating, choosing to keep becoming. You didn't stop when you hit a milestone birthday. You didn't pack it in because society said you should slow down. You realized that time is neutral. It doesn't care what you do. So you made it work for you. You use it to compound discipline, to stack wins, to build momentum. And momentum is what separates people who age with grace from those who fade with excuses. You didn't get here by playing it safe. You didn't get here by hoping for results. You earned it through sacrifice, through consistency, through the kind of choices that most people avoid because they're hard. But you understood something deeper. That comfort is temporary, but regret lingers. So you chose discomfort early, and now you get to walk through life with strength, clarity, and power that others can't fake. That's the real reward. And you know what else? You're not done. That's the best part. Because the same energy that kept you from aging like everyone else, it's still in you. It's growing. You've built a machine. And every day you feed it with challenge, discipline, focus, and purpose, it keeps evolving. You're not just aging better than others, you're living better than others. You've created a rhythm of excellence that doesn't rely on motivation or applause. It's internal. It's forged in repetition and accountability, and when that kind of momentum is built, it's nearly unstoppable. People chase secrets and shortcuts, but you found the truth. Looking young isn't about what you avoid, it's about what you embrace. You embraced movement. You embraced sweat. You embraced hard days, strict routines, high standards. You embraced the idea that how you do anything is how you do everything. So you brought excellence into your mornings, your meals, your relationships, your mindset. You didn't do it for attention. You did it because that's who you are. And now the results speak for themselves. The eyes don't lie. There's a light in them when someone's still chasing greatness. That light doesn't come from sleep or skincare. It comes from being alive in the truest sense, having goals, facing adversity, pushing limits. That light, it's rare because most people let life dim theirs years ago. They accepted the script. You rewrote it. And let's not ignore what it took. This path you chose, it cost something. It cost comfort. It cost late nights and empty galleries and cheap dopamine. It cost fake friendships, half-hearted efforts, and low standards. But in return, it gave you strength. It gave you clarity. It gave you a future. And it gave you presence. The kind of presence that doesn't need a title or an introduction. Because when you walk into the room, your energy introduces you. That doesn't come from luck. That comes from building you. And that's the real secret. The reason you look younger isn't because you were avoiding time. It's because you were beating it. Every day you woke up and fought for your health, your habits, your mind. You won another round. You didn't freeze time. You outran it. You used every day as a chance to sharpen yourself. And while the rest of the world kept saying it's too late, you kept saying, watch me. You don't owe anyone an explanation, but understand this. What you're doing matters because there are people watching, people who gave up on themselves, people who need proof that it's not over. And when they see you, they don't just see someone who looks good for their age. They see possibility. They see the costs of commitment. And maybe, just maybe, they find the courage to start again. That's the ripple effect of living like this. It's not just about how you look, it's about what you represent. You're a walking contradiction to the lie that age equals decline. You're proof that it's not too late to start lifting, to clean up your eating, to rebuild your identity, to shift your momentum. You're showing people that youth isn't behind them. It's something they can earn every single day through action. So when they ask you what your secret is, don't give them a product. Don't give them some one-line answer. Just tell them the truth. Tell them you decided that your life was worth more than what society expects. Tell them you chose to fight when it would have been easier to fold. Tell them you got tired of the lies, the limits, the labels. Tell them you built a standard and you refused to lower it even when it was hard, especially when it was hard. Because that's what it really means to look younger than your age. It means you didn't let time define you, you defined yourself. You kept showing up, kept building, kept evolving, and somewhere along the way the world had to take notice. Because youth isn't about being born at the right time. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't give up, doesn't check out, doesn't coast. And when you become that person year after year, you don't age. You lead by example without needing a title or a platform. Just the way you walk, the way you speak, the energy you bring, that's leadership. It teaches people what's possible without saying a word. Because in a world that keeps lowering the bar, just being excellent is rebellion. When you take care of yourself with precision, when you chase goals like you're just getting started, when you show up sharper than people half your age, you're sending a message. This is what discipline looks like. This is what happens when you refuse to give in. This is what living on purpose does. And here's what most won't admit. Deep down, everyone wants this. Not the surface level compliments or the head turns, but the confidence that comes from knowing you've mastered your own life. The internal calm that comes from knowing you didn't take shortcuts. The ability to walk into any situation knowing you built yourself into someone solid, someone capable, someone consistent. That kind of confidence doesn't fade with age. It gets stronger, deeper, more undeniable. It becomes your armor, your identity, and it's earned, not gifted. What you've done, most can't. Not because they physically can't, but because they won't. Because they'd rather fit in than stand out. They'd rather be comfortable than challenged. But you took a different road, and that road rewired you. It made you more focused, more resilient. It sharpened your instincts. You started paying attention to the details others ignore. Your food, your sleep, your training, your circle. You learned that everything matters, that nothing is neutral, that everything either feeds your goals or steals from them. And when you start seeing the world that way, you become dangerous in the best way. You stopped aging the moment you stopped accepting the lies. The moment you decided that your best years weren't behind you, that you weren't going to slow down just because others did. You became different, not better than everyone, but better than the version of you that almost accepted average. And that difference is visible in your posture, in your pace, in the way you look people in the eye with certainty, not because you're trying to impress them, but because you've faced yourself and you're proud of the choices you've made. You look younger than your age because you act younger than your age. And not in some immature, reckless way, but in a fearless way. You've kept your fire alive, you've kept your body moving, you've kept your curiosity intact. You don't coast through your days, you attack them. You don't survive your mornings, you win them. You don't fear challenges, you seek them. That attitude, that mindset, it keeps your edge. And that edge keeps you young. You didn't get here by chance. You got here by choice, repeatedly in moments when it was easier to sleep in, to slack off, to rationalize. You chose discipline. You chose clarity. And every time you did, you widened the gap between you and everyone else who gave up on themselves. That gap is physical, it's mental, it's emotional, it's spiritual, and it shows. Because when you walk into a room, the atmosphere shifts. People notice when someone is complete. And you've been building that kind of completeness piece by piece, day by day, year by year. You don't wait for permission. You don't wait for motivation. You created your own standard and held yourself to it without applause. And while others chased hacks, you mastered the basics. Water, sleep, movement, clean fuel, mental focus, emotional control, spiritual connection. You didn't do it for a season. You made it your way of life. And that life, that decision, built a result that can't be copied. That's sick. It can only be earned. Looking younger than your age means you've made time serve you. You didn't let it pass you by unnoticed. You filled it with growth, with intention, with real progress. And that's the difference between existing and evolving. People who just exist age fast because they stopped moving forward. But you never stopped. And that motion kept you alive, vibrant, strong. It kept you curious. It kept you focused. It kept you dangerous. Now you understand something others are just starting to learn, that youth is not a look, it's a decision, it's a standard, it's a rhythm of choices that compound it to something rare. People try to bottle it, market it, sell it. But the truth is, the real secret is free. And it's also the hardest to follow. Show up every day, fuel your body right, train when no one's watching, keep your promises to yourself. That's it. That's the formula. But most won't do it because it's hard, because it's unglamorous, because it takes years. But you did it anyway, and now you wear the results. You carry them in your face, your energy, your very presence. And while some people obsess over aging as something to hide or fear, you see it differently. You see it as a game to win, not by denying it, but by dominating it. You've made aging an advantage because while others lose power, you gain it. While they shrink, you expand. While they drift, you drive. And now your age isn't a weight, it's a weapon because it's filled with experience, wisdom, control, and confidence. And when you combine those with vitality, with strength, with purpose, you become unstoppable. People want to know what your secret is, but the truth is, you didn't find something, you became someone. You became someone who could be trusted with their health, with their emotions, with their mission, with their future. And that kind of transformation changes everything. It doesn't just make you look younger. It makes you live better. It makes you lead better. It makes you love deeper. And it gives you the power to not just add years to your life, but to add life to your years. You're not trying to turn back time. You're doing something better. You're showing the world what happens when you maximize it. You're showing people what's possible when they stop settling and start rising, when they stop acting their age and start owning it. Because age isn't meant to be a ceiling, it's meant to be a platform. And from where you stand, you're not looking down at what used to be, you're looking ahead at what's still to come. Because you know the truth, you're just getting started. So when they say you look younger than your age, understand what they're really seeing. They're seeing discipline, they're seeing fire, they're seeing a person who refused to quit, who chose purpose over comfort, who lives with intention when most drift through life on autopilot. You didn't get here by chance. You got here by choice. And that choice is a daily one. So wear that compliment like armor. Let it remind you that you're not just defying age, you're redefining it. Keep showing up, keep evolving, keep proving that the best version of you isn't in the past, it's the one you're still building.